Discovery in the dust. The Mojave Desert stretched endlessly under the scorching afternoon sun, its barren landscape broken only by the occasional Joshua tree and the industrial equipment that had invaded this remote corner of California. Sarah Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she studied the seismic readings on her tablet, her dark eyes narrowing at the anomalous data patterns. "There's definitely something massive down there," she muttered to herself, adjusting her hard hat against the relentless heat. As lead engineer for the deep drilling project, Sarah had expected to find nothing more exciting than ancient rock formations. What the sensors were showing defied geological explanation. Her colleague, Marcus Williams, jogged over from the drilling platform, his face flushed with excitement. "Sarah, you need to see this. We hit something at 300 feet, and it's not rock." Sarah followed him to the edge of the excavation site, where a team of workers had gathered around the massive drill head. Through the swirling dust, she caught a glimpse of something that made her heart skip, a smooth metallic surface with an otherworldly sheen that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. "Stop all operations," Sarah commanded into her radio. "Everyone back from the edge. Now." Over the next 72 hours, what began as a routine drilling operation transformed into the most significant archaeological discovery in human history. The excavation revealed a colossal vessel, over 200 meters in length, buried beneath centuries of accumulated sand and sediment. Its hull bore intricate geometric patterns unlike anything in human engineering, and despite its age, the metal showed no signs of corrosion. The news spread like wildfire. Within a week, the site swarmed with government officials, military personnel, and scientists from around the globe. General Patricia Hayes, appointed to oversee the operation, established a perimeter around the excavation, while teams of experts began their preliminary analysis. Initial scans indicate the vessel is approximately 800 years old. Dr. James Mitchell, the lead archaeologist, reported during the first major briefing. "The design is clearly non-terrestrial in origin. However, all our attempts to access its systems have failed. For all intents and purposes, this appears to be a dead ship." Sarah listened from the back of the crowded tent, her mind racing with possibilities. While others saw a lifeless relic, she sensed something more, a puzzle waiting to be solved. Days turned into weeks as international teams pored over every inch of the vessel. The hull proved impervious to conventional cutting tools, and attempts to interface with what appeared to be control panels yielded nothing but frustration. Some scientists began calling it the most elaborate paperweight in the galaxy. "Perhaps we're looking at this all wrong," suggested Dr. Yuki Tanaka from the Japanese contingent. "The technology might be so advanced that we simply lack the means to activate it, or so primitive that it's beyond repair," countered Dr. Mikhail Volkov, earning skeptical looks from his colleagues. Sarah remained silent during these debates, spending her nights studying the ship's exterior patterns. Something about their arrangement nagged at her. They weren't merely decorative, but seemed to follow a mathematical progression she couldn't quite grasp. The breakthrough came during her fourth week on site. While others focused on obvious access points, Sarah explored a section of the hull that appeared unremarkable. Her fingers traced along a series of subtle indentations, and she noticed they grew warm at her touch. "Thermal reactive materials," she whispered, her excitement building. Following her instinct, she pressed her palm against a particular sequence of symbols. The metal beneath her hand pulsed with a soft blue light. Within seconds, a previously invisible seam appeared in the hull, revealing an entrance. Sarah's heart pounded as she called for backup, but she couldn't resist peering inside. The corridor beyond glowed with the same blue luminescence, and the air carried a faint electrical charge that made her skin tingle. The discovery reinvigorated the investigation. Teams cautiously explored the ship's interior, marveling at its pristine condition. Despite centuries of abandonment, the vessel's internal systems appeared intact, though still unresponsive to their efforts. Sarah found herself drawn to what seemed to be the command center, a spherical chamber at the ship's heart. Crystalline structures protruded from the walls, dark and lifeless, surrounding a central dais that begged for investigation. The architecture suggests a neural interface design, observed Dr. Mitchell as he examined the chamber. But without power, we can't determine its function. Sarah approached the dais, noting how the crystal formations seemed to angle toward it like frozen lightning. She placed her hand on the central console, feeling an almost imperceptible vibration beneath her fingertips. "There's still energy here," she announced. "It's minimal, but it's there." General Hayes frowned. "Our readings show no power signatures." "Because you're looking for familiar energy patterns," Sarah explained, her confidence growing. "This operates on quantum frequencies. The ship isn't dead. It's dormant." With the general's reluctant approval, Sarah assembled a small team to investigate her theory. They worked around the clock, developing new detection methods and studying the quantum signatures she had identified. The breakthrough came when Sarah discovered that the ship responded to specific bioelectric patterns. It was designed to interface directly with organic neural networks. "The implications are staggering," Dr. Tanaka mused as they reviewed the findings. "This technology bridges the gap between consciousness and machinery in ways we've only theorized about." Sarah volunteered to attempt the first interface, despite protests from the military advisors. Wearing a specially designed monitoring suit, she returned to the command chamber and placed both hands on the central console. This time, she focused her thoughts, imagining energy flowing from her mind into the alien systems. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The crystals erupted in brilliant cascades of light, and Sarah felt her consciousness expand beyond her physical form. Information flooded her mind, not in words or images, but in pure understanding. Neural link established. A voice resonated through her thoughts, neither male nor female, but unmistakably artificial. "This unit is Nexus, Unified Intelligence System. Warning: critical power depletion. System capabilities limited to basic communication protocols." Sarah struggled to maintain the connection. Nexus: why was this ship abandoned? Vessel classification: obsolete patrol craft. Decommissioned following Fleet Modernization Cycle 7.4. Deemed inefficient for contemporary combat requirements. Scheduled for recycling but lost during transport. The revelation stunned Sarah. This magnificent vessel, which had captivated Earth's best minds, was considered junk by its creators. Can the ship be restored to operational status? Affirmative. However, original specifications are limited. Vessel requires substantial modifications to meet performance parameters of current-era technology. As Sarah broke the connection, her mind reeled with possibilities. The aliens had discarded this ship like an outdated car, but they had failed to see its potential. Where they saw obsolescence, she saw opportunity. The following days brought rapid progress. With Nexus providing guidance, Sarah and her team began the process of understanding the ship's systems. They discovered that the vessel's modular design allowed for extensive customization, something its original builders had apparently overlooked in their rush to adopt newer models. "It's like they threw away a classic car because it didn't have Bluetooth," Marcus joked during one late-night session. "They never considered that someone might install a better engine." Sarah smiled at the analogy. "Exactly. They followed rigid upgrade protocols, but we can think outside their box. We can make this ship into something they never imagined." International cooperation reached unprecedented levels as humanity united around the project. Engineers from every nation contributed ideas, while scientists developed new theories about faster-than-light travel based on the ship's drive systems. What had started as an archaeological curiosity transformed into humanity's greatest collaborative endeavor. Sarah established a permanent neural link with Nexus, spending hours each day exploring the ship's capabilities. The A seemed genuinely puzzled by human creativity, often questioning their unconventional approaches to problem-solving. "Your species exhibits unusual cognitive patterns," Nexus observed during one session. "You combine unrelated concepts to create novel solutions. This methodology was not anticipated by my creators." That's because your creators thought in straight lines, Sarah replied. Humans think in spirals, curves, and occasionally, complete chaos. It's messier, but it gets results. The first major modification involved the power systems. Rather than following the original design, human engineers integrated fusion technology with the alien quantum cores, creating a hybrid system that outperformed both technologies independently. Nexus expressed something resembling surprise when the power output exceeded original specifications by 300%. This configuration is theoretically impossible according to visionary engineering principles, the AI stated. Sarah grinned. Good thing we didn't read the manual. As word spread about humanity's progress with the alien vessel, excitement rippled across the globe. The ship represented more than just advanced technology. It symbolized humanity's potential to transcend perceived limitations. Artists created murals depicting the vessel rising from the desert, while children played with toy models of Earth's first starship. The crystalline formations in the command center now pulsed with steady light, and previously inactive sections of the ship came alive with human modifications. Engineers had installed Earth-based computer systems alongside the alien technology, creating redundancies that improved overall performance. The once abandoned vessel transformed into a unique fusion of two civilizations' achievements. We're ready for the first power-up sequence, Sarah announced during a global broadcast. The world watched as she stood in the command center, her hand on the primary control interface. This ship was left behind because its creators couldn't see its potential. Today, humanity proves that one civilization's trash can become another's treasure. With billions watching, Sarah initiated the startup sequence. The ship's engines, silent for centuries, roared to life with a harmonious hum that resonated through the desert floor. External lights illuminated in patterns no visionary designer had ever conceived, while the restored systems exceeded every performance benchmark. Inside the command center, Nexus spoke with something approaching awe. Ship functionality now exceeds original parameters by significant margins. These modifications should not function according to established principles, yet empirical evidence confirms their success. Sarah smiled, feeling the ship's power coursing through the neural link. Welcome to human engineering, Nexus. We specialize in making the impossible possible. As the sun set over the Mojave Desert, the restored Starship stood as a testament to human ingenuity. What alien civilization had discarded as worthless, humanity had transformed into something extraordinary. The vessel's hull gleamed with new purpose, its hybrid systems representing the perfect marriage of alien technology and human creativity. The first phase was complete, but Sarah knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had proven it could not only understand alien technology, but improve upon it. The stars beckoned, and Earth's first true starship stood ready to answer that call. In the command center, Nexus processed the implications of human innovation. Query: do all humans possess this ability to reimagine established parameters? Sarah laughed, her eyes bright with possibility. You haven't seen anything yet, Nexus. We're just getting started. The Phoenix Protocol. The newly christened Starship Phoenix hummed with barely contained energy as Sarah Chen stood before the assembled crowd of world leaders, scientists, and journalists. 6 months had passed since the initial discovery, and the transformed vessel now bore little resemblance to its original form. Human ingenuity had turned the abandoned alien craft into something entirely new, a fusion of technologies that exceeded both civilizations' individual achievements. Today marks a new chapter in human history, Sarah began, her voice carrying across the expanded facility that had grown around the ship. What was once considered worthless by an advanced alien civilization has become the cornerstone of humanity's expansion into the cosmos. The Phoenix's exterior now featured sleek modifications that complemented its original design. Solar collection panels integrated seamlessly with the alien hull, while human-engineered weapon systems provided defensive capabilities the original builders had never considered necessary for a mere patrol vessel. The ship's graceful lines suggested both speed and power, a testament to the international team that had poured their creativity into every modification. Inside the command center, Nexus had evolved beyond its original programming. Daily interactions with human engineers had fundamentally altered the AI's cognitive patterns, introducing elements of creativity and lateral thinking that its scenario creators would have deemed impossible. Commander Chen, Nexus announced through the ship's communication system, all systems are operating at peak efficiency. The Phoenix is ready for its maiden voyage. Sarah nodded, though she knew the real test lay ahead. The international crew of 30, representing the best pilots, engineers, and scientists from around the world, had trained extensively with the hybrid systems. Captain Robert Morrison, a former NASA astronaut, would command the mission, while Sarah served as chief engineer and primary interface with Nexus /. The launch drew a global audience of over 4 billion viewers. As the Phoenix lifted from its desert cradle, its modified engines produced a distinctive harmonic resonance that sent shivers through observers. The ship rose smoothly, defying its massive size, and accelerated toward the upper atmosphere with grace that seemed to mock conventional physics. Transition to quantum drive in T-60 seconds, Captain Morrison announced from the bridge. The crew prepared for humanity's first faster-than-light journey, a short hop to Mars that would normally take months, but should require mere minutes with the Phoenix upgraded systems. Sarah monitored the power distribution through her neural link with Nexus. The hybrid fusion quantum cores pulsed with synchronized energy, exceeding all projected outputs. All systems nominal, Captain. We're ready for quantum transition. The space around the Phoenix shimmered as reality bent to the ship's will. In an instant, Earth dwindled to a blue marble, and Mars loomed large in the forward viewports. The journey that had challenged humanity for decades had taken 47 seconds. Transition complete, Nexus reported, its voice tinged with something resembling pride. Performance exceeded calculated parameters by 12%. The successful test flight opened new possibilities for human expansion. Over the following weeks, the Phoenix conducted increasingly ambitious missions, mapping nearby star systems and testing the limits of its modified systems. Each journey provided new data that Earth scientists used to refine their understanding of interstellar travel. During a routine survey of the Proxima Centauri system, the Phoenix's sensors detected something unexpected, an artificial structure orbiting the red dwarf star. Sarah felt her pulse quicken as she analyzed the readings. Nexus, can you identify that structure? The AI processed the data with unusual hesitation. Configuration matches Scenari Deep Space Monitoring Station. Classification: abandoned. Estimated age: 400 standard years. Captain Morrison made the decision to investigate. As the Phoenix approached the station, they discovered it was far from abandoned. Lights flickered within its transparent sections, and energy signatures indicated active systems. More surprisingly, the station's design incorporated modifications that seemed oddly familiar. Someone else has been experimenting with hybrid technology, Sarah observed, studying the station's altered architecture. These modifications follow similar principles to our own work on the Phoenix. Before anyone could respond, the ship's communication array activated unbidden. A holographic figure materialized on the bridge, tall, graceful, with silvery skin and large, multifaceted eyes that marked it as undeniably alien. The being's expression conveyed what Sarah interpreted as surprise. Humans. The figure spoke in flawless English, its voice carrying harmonics that suggested advanced translation technology. You pilot the decommissioned patrol vessel from Sector 7. This is unexpected. Captain Morrison stepped forward. I'm Captain Robert Morrison of the Starship Phoenix, representing Earth. We've restored and modified this vessel for peaceful exploration. May I ask who we're addressing? The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. I am Vexai, Chief Engineer of the Scenari Collective's Reclamation Division. We detected unusual quantum signatures and came to investigate. Your presence here, commanding that obsolete vessel, defies logical parameters. Sarah felt Nexus react through their neural link, a pulse of recognition mixed with apprehension. She stepped beside Morrison. The ship was abandoned on our planet. We've spent months studying and improving its systems. The Phoenix now operates far beyond its original specifications. Vexay's expression shifted to what might have been disbelief. Impossible. That model was discontinued due to fundamental design limitations. Its quantum matrix cannot support advanced modifications without catastrophic resonance failures. Would you like a demonstration? Sarah asked, allowing confidence to color her tone. Minutes later, 3 Xenari vessels emerged from quantum space surrounding the station. Their sleek, uniform designs marked them as current-generation craft, theoretically superior to the Phoenix in every measurable way. Vexay transported aboard the human ship, accompanied by 2 other Xenari engineers. The aliens moved through the Phoenix's corridors with obvious bewilderment, their scanner devices working overtime as they documented the hybrid systems. When they reached the command center, Vexay stopped abruptly, staring at the crystalline interface array. "You've altered the neural matrix," the alien observed, its voice barely above a whisper. "These configurations should create destructive feedback loops, yet the system remains stable." How? Minutes later, 3 Xenari vessels emerged from quantum space surrounding the station. Their sleek, uniform designs marked them as current-generation craft, theoretically superior to the Phoenix in every measurable way. Vexay transported aboard the human ship, accompanied by 2 other Xenari engineers. The aliens moved through the Phoenix's corridors with obvious bewilderment, their scanner devices working overtime as they documented the hybrid systems. When they reached the command center, Vexay stopped abruptly, staring at the crystalline interface array. "You've altered the neural matrix," the alien observed, its voice barely above a whisper. "These configurations should create destructive feedback loops, yet the system remains stable." How? Sarah placed her hand on the central console, demonstrating the interface. "We don't just use the technology, we collaborate with it. Nexus isn't just an AI anymore. It's evolved through constant interaction with human creativity." "Confirmed," Nexus interjected, its voice resonating through the chamber. "Human cognitive patterns have enhanced my operational parameters beyond original design limitations. Their approach to problem-solving introduces beneficial chaos into otherwise rigid systems." The lead Xenari engineer requested permission to interface with the ship's systems. Sarah watched as Vexay attempted to establish a standard Xenari neural link, only to recoil moments later with obvious distress. "The system resists conventional access," Vexay reported to its companions. "It requires intuitive leaps rather than logical progression. This should not be possible." Over the next hour, the Phoenix demonstrated capabilities that left the Xenari delegation speechless. The ship's hybrid drives achieved speeds 20% faster than their newest vessels. Its modified weapon systems, designed for defensive purposes, showed power outputs that rivaled dedicated warships. Most impressively, the Phoenix's sensors could detect quantum signatures at ranges that exceeded Xenari technology by a factor of 3. "Your species has achieved something we believed impossible," Vexay finally admitted. "We follow strict protocols for technological advancement, building upon established principles. You appear to have broken the rules." Sarah smiled. "We didn't break them. We just wrote new ones." The encounter marked a turning point in human-alien relations. The Xenari, despite their advanced technology, had become trapped in rigid thinking patterns that limited innovation. They built better versions of existing designs, but rarely conceived entirely new approaches. Humans, with their chaotic creativity and willingness to combine disparate concepts, offered something that Xenari hadn't realized they needed: a fresh perspective. Negotiations began for a formal exchange program. The Xenari offered access to their vast technological database in return for human assistance in revitalizing their stagnant development programs. The Phoenix became a symbol of what such cooperation could achieve. Months passed as joint teams worked on new projects. The abandoned monitoring station transformed into a collaborative research facility where human and Xenari engineers pushed the boundaries of known physics. Each success led to bolder experiments, culminating in the development of quantum drives that could fold space-time in ways neither species had imagined independently. Sarah found herself at the center of these breakthroughs, her unique bond with Nexus serving as a bridge between human intuition and alien logic. The AI had evolved far beyond its original parameters, developing what could only be described as personality and creative impulses. "I have been analyzing human historical records," Nexus announced during one of their sessions. "Your species exhibits a pattern of transforming discarded items into valuable resources. This cognitive trait appears fundamental to human nature." "One person's trash is another's treasure," Sarah replied, smiling at the ancient human saying. "We see potential where others see problems." The collaboration produced unexpected results. Xenari engineers, exposed to human thinking patterns, began developing more innovative solutions. Meanwhile, humans gained access to technologies that advanced their understanding of the universe by centuries. The Phoenix underwent further modifications, incorporating the best of both civilizations' achievements. A year after first contact, the Phoenix prepared for its most ambitious mission, a journey to the Xenari homeworld, where Sarah would address their High Council about the future of interspecies cooperation. The ship now bore modifications from both cultures, its hybrid nature visible in every line and curve. The Council remains skeptical, Vexhai warned during the journey. "Many believe humans lack the discipline necessary for proper technological advancement. They view your methods as chaotic and dangerous." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "Chaos isn't always negative. Sometimes it's the catalyst for evolution." The Xenari homeworld proved to be a study in organized perfection. Cities followed precise geometric patterns, and technology integrated seamlessly with architecture in ways that suggested centuries of careful planning. The High Council convened in a crystalline spire that reached into the stratosphere, its chambers designed to optimize acoustic and visual communication. Sarah stood before the assembled Xenari leadership, feeling the weight of humanity's future in her words. Behind her, holographic displays showed the Phoenix's specifications and performance data. "Distinguished counselors," she began, "a year ago, you discarded a vessel you deemed obsolete. That same vessel now outperforms your current fleet in multiple parameters. The difference lies not in the base technology, but in how we approached its potential." She gestured to the displays, which shifted to show comparative analyses. Xenari engineering follows logical progression, each advancement building predictably upon the last. This approach has served you well, creating a stable and advanced civilization, but it has also created limitations. The council members exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable to human eyes. Sarah continued, "Humans think differently. We combine unrelated ideas, take risks with untested theories, and sometimes succeed through sheer stubborn determination. These traits, which you might view as flaws, allowed us to see possibilities in your discarded technology that you couldn't imagine." The High Counselor, an ancient Xenari whose crystalline headpiece denoted supreme authority, leaned forward. "You suggest that disorder produces superior results to order. I suggest that balance between order and chaos produces innovation," Sarah replied. "Your technological expertise combined with human creativity has already yielded results neither species could achieve alone. The Phoenix stands as proof of what we can accomplish together." The debate continued for hours, with traditionalist factions arguing against what they saw as dangerous contamination of Xenari methodology. But the performance data was undeniable. Human modifications had consistently exceeded theoretical limitations. The turning point came when Nexus requested permission to address the Council. The AI's evolution had become a point of intense interest for Xenari computer scientists, representing something unprecedented in their experience. "Esteemed counselors," Nexus began, its voice resonating through the chamber, "I was created according to strict Xenari parameters, designed to operate within defined limitations. Interaction with human consciousness has fundamentally altered my cognitive architecture. I have not become less than I was. I have become more than my creators intended." The AI paused, allowing the implications to sink in. This evolution was not planned or predictable. It emerged from the chaotic interplay between human creativity and scenary structure. I submit myself as evidence that such fusion produces results superior to either approach alone. The council deliberated for 3 days before reaching their decision. When they reconvened, the High Counselor's words would reshape the future of both species. "The evidence compels us to acknowledge what we have long resisted," the ancient being intoned. "Perfection is not found in rigid adherence to established patterns, but in the courage to explore beyond them." The human approach, while foreign to our nature, offers what our civilization needs most: renewal. The formal alliance between Earth and the Exenary Collective marked the beginning of a new era. Joint exploration fleets, combining the best of both technologies and methodologies, began mapping distant galaxies. The Phoenix, once discarded as worthless, became the prototype for a new generation of vessels that embodied the fusion of two radically different approaches to understanding the universe. Sarah stood on the observation deck of the Phoenix as it prepared for another mission, this time leading a mixed fleet of human and Cenary ships toward the galactic core. Nexus hummed quietly in the background, processing navigation calculations with an efficiency that combined mathematical precision with intuitive leaps. "Query, Commander Chen," the AI said, breaking the comfortable silence. "Do you believe other species exist who might benefit from human perspective?" Sarah smiled, watching the stars stretch into lines as the Phoenix engaged its quantum drive. "I'm certain of it, Nexus. The universe is full of civilizations that have become trapped in their own expertise. Sometimes it takes an outsider to show them what they're missing." The modified patrol vessel, once abandoned as obsolete, now led the way toward new discoveries. It had become more than just a ship. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when different ways of thinking combined to create something greater than the sum of their parts. As the Phoenix jumped toward unknown stars, Sarah reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, not through conquest or submission, but by doing what humans did best: taking something broken and making it better. The discarded alien ship had become humanity's gift to the stars, proof that with creativity, determination, and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom, even the impossible became possible. The stars awaited, full of mysteries to unravel and challenges to overcome. And humanity, with its chaotic creativity and irrepressible spirit, was ready to meet them head-on. The Phoenix soared onward, carrying the hopes of two civilizations and the promise of discoveries yet to come. In the vast expanse of space, other abandoned vessels drifted silently, waiting for someone to see their hidden potential. The universe had learned an important lesson: never underestimate what humans can do with something others consider worthless. For in human hands, yesterday's trash truly could become tomorrow's treasure. The Phoenix Protocol, as the transformation project came to be known, would be remembered as the moment humanity proved its worth to the cosmos, not through military might or technological superiority, but through the uniquely human ability to see beauty and potential where others saw only obsolescence and failure. And in the quantum reaches of her consciousness, Nexus processed a new understanding, an emotion she had learned from her human partners: hope. The future stretched before them, infinite and full of promise, waiting to be shaped by the combined vision of species who had learned that their differences were not weaknesses to overcome, but strengths to be celebrated. The abandoned Starship had found its purpose at last, and in doing so, had helped two civilizations find theirs. The stars beckoned, and humanity, alongside their newfound allies, was ready to answer their call.